Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to summarize and put together the information from the previous three videos, give you some more ideas about those concepts, hopefully putting all that together and summarize into the entire full swing. So by the end of this video, I hope that you all will have a pretty good understanding of the mechanisms and foundations of the full swing. And I understand there's going to be a lot of concepts that I'm going to have to go back over just because it's difficult to be thorough on something as complex as a golf swing. I'm just trying to provide a basic foundation. This one's going to be called Coil, Load, Explode. This is how I think of my golf swing. I think of it in three pieces. Typically the golf swing is thought of as two: backswing and follow through, or downswing. But I think of the golf swing in three pieces. There's a coiling aspect to it when you're moving your body back, the backswing, and then there's the preparation or the loading of your energy, and then the release. So it's not just backswing, downswing. It's really backswing, preparation, and then downswing. But we're going to call it coil, load, explode. The coiling part of the swing involves the backswing, rotating back, coiling your muscles, coiling the spring up, preparing it for release. And the coiling of the spring works, as we discussed in the second video, by moving the upper body back, reverse lagging a little bit, allowing the club to flow. Now, many golfers take the club back with the club first, moving your arms first like this, and then they coil back. Such a motion like this. This is not a very fluid motion. It's very rigid, very stiff. It'll be difficult to have any feel of the club that way. I recommend moving your body first, getting the lower body in position, and then letting the arms follow you. This will give you much more feel. Essentially, you're setting the lower body up and then letting the arms follow, as opposed to trying to move the club first, move your body, and then let the club follow you. Typically, this is how this works. Because the club is at the end, we move our body, then that moves our arm, then our hand, and then the club. So body first, hands follow. So the swing would look something like this. We go back, coiling up, getting into position. This move here allows the club to flow backwards, and it lags behind a little bit. Comes to the top of the swing, and then we come down. Well, actually we prep and then we come down, but just the coiling bit of it. We move to the top of the swing, and we're coiled up and ready for the loading bit. See that one more time? So the reason we want to turn our body first when taking the club back is really no different than the way that you would coil and rotate to throw any other kind of object. When you go to throw a ball, you don't move your arm back and then your body. That would be absurd. You move your body back and let your arm drag last. You turn your body back, the hand goes back, and then you go the other way. So your body rotates, arm slings, then you rotate your body, then the arm slings. So the golf swing is very similar. We move the body, let the club go back, and move our body back and let the club follow us. So the body is your center of rotation, so that has to move first, and then your arms come around you, like so. This may feel very strange at first to allow the club to lag behind you, but I think with a little bit of practice, going to the range session, try testing this out, you'll find that it gives you a lot more feel over the club head as it flops or slings into its place, so that you have some time to control the club head and decide where it is in space before you load and then deliver the club. So a couple of things to note when you're coiling up is hip distribution on top of the right leg. Right leg can extend. It can even almost straighten out. It's okay if that happens. We go back onto the right hip on top of the right leg. The right hip goes backwards. We have full twist, full turn, and a little bit of reverse lag. This allows the club to flop into its place, into the slot, into the cock, into the hinge. And this allows us to get ready for the next step. Now the loading aspect is where we get energy from the ground. At some point in the swing, we have to bend the legs, get energy from the lower body, and go into the ground. Um, so when we go back, we coil up into our turn. At this moment, the second step is to go into the ground by shifting the weight forward onto the left side, moving the hips, and downward. I like to go downward first and then up and around. I like this feeling. It feels natural for me. So we go back, and then the arms tighten around our body, giving us some lag. The arms lag behind. We go down into the ground, and then this is our load. We're loading into the ground, and then from here, we're ready to explode and use our power into the ball. So coil, load, coil, load. That being said, if you want more power in your golf swing, you have to get that from the ground up. I mean, unless you're going to work out and get a little bit stronger, but your energy, just as you are, you can get more energy by using more ground energy. The more that I dip into the ground, the higher I can jump, the more energy I'm going to have to rotate my hips. So the more that I load into the ground, the harder I'll be able to swing the club. If I don't use any ground force, you see this is not very powerful. If I use a little bit more ground energy, that's a little bit stronger. And if I use a lot, it's quite strong. So once we've coiled and loaded, now we're ready to explode and release this energy into the ball. Coil, load. When we get ready to unleash our energy, we're pushing up from the left side, hitting the hip and turning the hip around, which then drags the arms into the ball. So we go back, coil, load, down, and then up and explode through the ball. When you're going to release, it's important that we do not hump the ball when we come into it. This is not a powerful motion. If you hump the ball, you will either tend to leave your balls out to the right or auto-correct and pull them straight left and close the face down. So remember that when you're going through when you're ready to release and coil, that you don't hump the ball like this, but that you turn and allow the club to come through in this direction. So we don't want to hump the ball. In essence, you have to try to keep your hips back. Now, this is very difficult to do, especially when you start getting a little bit more energy, more power. It's hard to keep the hips back. All of these moves I'm showing you are very challenging and very difficult to make. So it's going to take a lot of patience and practice to be able to do this. And finally, when you go to let the club go, to release, to explode your energy, let the club fully go. We don't want to actually hold on to the club as it's going through the ball. I'm not trying to guide it. I'm letting the club completely go so that I can get maximum release and maximum energy. It's no different than trying to throw a ball. We're not going to hold on to it as we let it go. You have to let it go. So the club also, we want it to be able to let it go completely so we're not holding on to anything. So we'll do a couple of full swings here so you can check this out. These are just going to be very soft swings, maybe 50% swings for me. I'll do some in this direction and then some down the line. I'm going to use a little bit more ground energy on the next one so you can see how it accelerates the club faster. There's much more energy there through my follow through. Notice my foot turned around. Couple more here. I would recommend when practicing this by doing it very slowly. It doesn't take much. You'll notice that it doesn't take a lot of ground energy to produce a lot of club head speed. So I'm kind of dipping down there quite a bit. Normally when I play, I don't have to dip down that much because I don't need that much power. This is enough here. If I were to really go down into the ground, it becomes a lot harder to control my shot and consistency. We'll take a look at some down the line. So one of the best drills I know of to learn impact and releasing the hands at the ball is hitting a tire. And luckily tires are basically free. You can drive around any culvert and find them thrown on the side of the road. Some people will even pay you to take them. If you do get a tire, which is very recommended, you can do this in your backyard. Make sure you get a soft tire. You'll see this tire is it's a car tire, so don't get a hard truck tire. It needs to be somewhat pliable so that it's kind of soft. You don't want to hit something too hard. But this basically takes the place of the hit bags as they are. But this is very satisfying to hit. It gives you the satisfaction of hitting something, the feedback of what it feels like, and it gives you instant feedback as to how powerful your swing really is. So we're going to hit a couple on the tire so you can see this, and I can demonstrate the difference in power by using my legs. And this also will give you your own feedback so you can determine that you can increase your speed, not with applying more arm or upper body energy, but using the ground more to deliver more energy. And for this exercise, I'm using my old 7-iron. This is a club I used to use in high school. This is an old Mizuno Pro MS5. These are very outdated. I think I can probably hit this thing as far as my pitching wedge now, but it'll work for my exercise. I like to use my old club. You definitely don't want to hit the tire with any woods because they may break, or graphite shafts, preferably a steel shaft. You can hit it with some graphite shafts in the irons, but I would be careful. I would use an older club that you don't really care about, and I'll show you about setting up. So the real point of this exercise is to learn how to deliver the club and your maximum energy at impact. Not so that you're not delivering your energy here nor behind the ball, wherever the ball is, wherever you want impact to be. So you're learning to deliver your energy there and not in front of it or behind it. So when I set up to the tire, I don't set up on the ground. I do not want to hit the tire with the shaft of my club. I want to hit it with the club head. And I do set up with the tire somewhat in the front of my stance so that I'm a little bit behind the tire, almost like a driver. Because if I set up the way I would with a wedge, which we'll definitely talk about in future videos, I don't want to hit it like this. I want to hit it with the club only. So I want the shaft to be fairly vertical when I'm hitting the tire. You don't want to set up with any kind of forward shaft lean. So set up somewhat like you would a driver with the shaft vertical, and you're trying to hit the center of the tire. Okay. So I'm going to give you some demonstrations here. First, I would just take some small swings, moving your body first, allowing the club to flow. And of course, the tire is going to move a little bit. You can see that seems like a very small swing, but if I were to hit that ball like that, that's going to be a pretty good slap. That would probably send this ball 100 yards. It's a little bit more energy there. There's a little bit more. It's a longer backswing. And now we'll give it a full swing, but not full energy. Notice when I hit the tire, my impact stops here. This is my impact position. The right arm is slightly bent. The left arm is completely straight. The right arm will not reach full straightening until after the shot. But when hitting this tire, your right arm won't extend because you're going to hit the ball like this. The right arm will be slightly bent. Some mistakes that some of my students make when hitting this tire is they'll hit it like this. And they'll allow the club to flop over the tire. That is not powerful. We want to hit the ball with as much mass as possible, meaning we want to deliver everything to here, to this moment. We don't want to deliver it slightly past the ball and allow my hands to move over or the club to bounce over the tire. I want to deliver all of my energy into the back of this tire. Notice the difference between this swing and this swing. That second swing is much more powerful. I'm delivering a lot more energy into the back of the tire, or what would be into the back of the ball. So here I'm going to start using a little bit more leg power so you can see what that looks like. So this swing I'm about to make is going to be pretty close to a swing that I would play with my normal approach shots. So it's not going to be extremely powerful, but it is going to be quite strong. That's a swing that's very consistent for me, and I can put the ball in the middle of the club face very often like that. Once again. My foot slipped a little bit. There's some sand here. And now I'm going to show you a more powerful swing with the same amount of backswing, but I'm going to use more legs. Watch the difference. Much harder, much more ground energy up. One more time there. So you can use this tire exercise to practice your swing and see how much energy you're able to deliver to the ball, or what would be the ball, into the tire. You want more energy, you want to swing faster, more legs. Deliver your energy at the tire. This allows you to learn the release of the club so that the club is releasing at the back of the tire, like so. You can even do this in slow motion, getting your setup, getting in position here, and getting into the ground, bounce your legs a little bit, and learn to make that motion. That's going to be a nice, powerful swing and will allow you to slap the ball very, very hard, very crisply. Another exercise that is very helpful is to swing the club back and forth without restriction. Normally we hit the ball from this position, but it's helpful to understand how your body moves by going in your backswing. And notice how I push the club forward a little bit and then come back. I use the momentum of the club to come back, and we swing back and forth, moving your body, practicing the lower body movement as it comes down. And then just slowly go from this to your full swing. Back and forth. Practice moving your body. So I'm going this way, I'm going the other way, this way, the other way, just like this. Going back and forth, notice when I come back, I'm moving my body backwards, moving my body first, allowing the club to follow me into the backswing. Same thing the other way, body first, club follows. Just going back and forth, learning how your lower body's moving. Maybe take note of how your feet are moving. Focus on making good body motions, maintaining your posture in the follow through. This is a great exercise. I highly recommend warming up, taking swings like this, as opposed to taking a practice swing like this and then swinging and then resetting. It's helpful to feel the weight of the club to help you get into a proper position in your backswing. Okay, I hope this helps everybody. See you next time.